thought having a new truck would be more gratifying, or something magical. It does take a weight off my shoulders as far as having a reliable work vehicle, but I kind of had this overwhelming feeling like, you know, when you live in a house and you move and you're in this new house all of a sudden, you're like, it doesn't feel like home. That's what I have as far as a feeling. So overall, it's probably good. It's definitely for the best. It's progress in the right direction, but it's just another tool, man. So now we can quit bitching about a truck and actually make some stuff happen. Pretty cool. So it's an F350 Super Duty. It'll pull anything I need. So that's cool. The only thing I wish was different about it is it'd be really nice if there was a flatbed. Because I have come to really enjoy and like flatbed trucks. It's very convenient in business. I can build a big box on there, have a leaf set up. But, you know, we'll figure it out. I might get a flatbed next year. It's really not that big a deal to set back some money and buy a truck. The only reason it was such an issue for me for so long is because my pricing was too low. My cash flow wasn't there. I wasn't getting paid on time. And I wasn't getting paid at all from some customers. And my spending was wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't set money aside to actually pay myself or separate the company's money. So that is what it is. Let's do some trimming. I gotta say, these stills were driving me nuts that day. They're gummed up, you know. You can just tell like how much they're smoking. It's not the gas. Somebody might say that or something, but no, it's just gummed up. I haven't used them in quite a while. My go-to, which you'll see them in here, is my Echoes with the actual trimmer attachment on them. And, you know, unless it's a real small bush, I normally don't use these. And I like to use them on more detail work, I guess, because it's easier to make minute details. So you see how this bush has got all these really odd, weird curves? That's where these stills come into play. I use them a lot on cleanups as well, because they will just eat through just about anything. They're a really good trimmer. Big downside is the gas tank is so small, so you're constantly filling it back up. But you know, for the price range, I like them. They're a good trimmer. I kind of go for those beat them up, tear them up, and throw a new carburetor on it year or two down the road, and then use it some more, and eventually it's going to get stolen before I actually get to sell it or, you know, retire it. That's just kind of the way it goes for me, I think. I've been hit with theft a lot, so if you've had that in the past, man, that sucks. 2015, we had about $2,000 in equipment stolen over the year, and that's when I was still not making really good money at all. And so my first pair is still HS45s. They got stolen. I had a power washer stolen that year, and that's kind of when I quit power washing up until this year. You know, a lot of stuff like that. I had a 21-foot extension ladder stolen. You know, all that stuff's so small, but, you know, it really adds up, and especially, like I said, when you're not making money, it's a very hard hit. I've had my gas cans stolen plenty of times, which, you know, I mean, if they're going to steal my gas, man, dude, come up, knock on my door, ask for some gas or something, I'll probably let you have some, and and just give me my damn cans back, man. Those gas cans are expensive. By the time you buy the gas cans and fill them back up, man, you're like 80 bucks in for a stolen gas can. That blows. All right, so over to the left, those hedges, they're like I think they're some type of boxwood. I don't know. I don't really know all the names of everything. I'm pretty good about most of them, but I don't know the names of everything. I do know how they trim up just from experience, you know. So these are going to be fine. I trim those up. They hold really nice shape. Love them. By the windows, those are Nandinas. You're never going to get those to square up really nice. They just don't grow that way. I mean, underneath it, there's a holly bush. With some of these older houses, you get some really odd landscaping, and it's just because that's the way everything's kind of grown over the years. So maybe there was a big holly bush and they cut it out, and somebody planted some Nandinas instead, and then the holly bush came back. You know, it's just the way it goes.
It's not for me to say you love. Go with the brothers, boo, you know how we do. It's to say.
So it's going to take several times when you're trimming bushes to get them back in shape. Like, this is the second time I've trimmed this property. The first one was just a cleanup, so we were smacking it back about 4 feet, which I really don't like doing on bushes. It's pretty hard on them, but you know, it's one of those things. Like, you can tell in this, there's a lot of bare spots, and it just needs time to be trimmed and allowed to fill back out and thicken out, and it'll look real sharp after a year or two. And that's what you'll run into a lot with property. Sometimes you go to trim them and they've been so neglected or so mismanaged and trimmed wrong over the years that, you know, they have a really, really bad canopy. Sometimes you can't really pull them back. This next bush, little bitty thing, right? Okay, that was up in the power lines. That was a privet bush, which I really like privet. It trims really nice. It looks really great. It's a beautiful bush, but it's incredibly fast growing. So it doesn't take too long for a privet to be huge and, you know, overwhelming. In this case, the client actually thought it was a tree and asked if I could cut the tree out of the wires, and I said I could. They were in the cable lines and not the actual electric lines, so you need to be very clear on what is dangerous and what's not dangerous when you do that kind of stuff. The lower lines are normally cable lines, and the higher lines are the electric lines. Definitely don't take my word for that. You know, that's something that you need to do your own research on. I don't know if it's different in your area, so if something happens to you, it's not my fault. This right here is a bunch of crepe myrtles, and you know, I'm trimming them a lot different than what most people trim crepe myrtles. She's actually wanting these to grow and thicken out and basically be a line of bushes. So crepe myrtle bushes instead of actual like the taller crepe myrtles or prune them back how you would generally in the spring. So, I kind of do it the way the customer wants. It's their yard, what they're wanting to look at. So just because there's a proper way of trimming something, if it's a hardy plant like a crepe myrtle, it's not gonna matter, man. Like if they want them to look like that, because they have beautiful blooms all over them when they're like that, compared to just on the tops, fine, I totally get it. But I mean, I've dug crepe myrtles out at the root, you know, and I've still seen them come back from the root system. Very hardy plant. So when people say, "Oh, you're doing crepe myrtle," and you got a crepe myrtle that's 20 feet high, and you cut it back with a chainsaw because the client doesn't want that high, that's okay, man. It's gonna be all right. Um, they'll come back, and yeah, it won't actually look. It won't look like it was natural. So I believe when people are saying crepe murder, it's because they're wanting the natural look, which I fully understand that on the other side. Even though when you are pruning it, it's not natural. So if you're gonna go natural, this is what a crepe myrtle bush looks like.
Go with the brothers, boo, you know how we do. Go with the brothers, boo, you know how we do.
It's not for me to say you love. It's not for me to say you love.
Go with the brothers, boo, you know how we do.
It's
Go with the brothers, boo, you know how we do.
It's not for me. It's not for me to say